Celtic have been crowned champions. They've won the 2023-2024 Scottish Premiership. They've done it now for 3 seasons in a row. And according to manager Brendan Rodgers, it was never in doubt. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Football. Woke up this morning to find out Celtic were, in fact, the champions of Scotland. Not the greatest news to wake up to, but congratulations. Nonetheless, I do believe that whatever team finishes at the top of the table deserves to win the title. Now, people can say that Rangers bottled it, and I do think towards the end that they did, but you could also make a case that had Rangers won the league, Celtic fans would argue their team bottled it during the middle of the campaign because they've been on a run of bad results, back-to-back losses to Kilmarnock and Hearts. I remember the Aberdeen game, they dropped points. There was a couple of other games in there, they dropped points. So, I mean, it just so happens to be Rangers have dropped points towards the end when it looked like they were going to win the league. But this was Celtic's title to lose at the very beginning. Lose it, they almost did. But in the end, they got over the line. And that's what counts, really. It doesn't matter whether you were leading and then fell behind and went back in front again. Doesn't matter whether you won a title and there was no fans for the entire season. And it doesn't matter whether you were clearly in front and were awarded the title with 9 games remaining. As long as you win the championship, as long as you're crowned champion, then you deserve it. So congratulations to Celtic. But Brendan Rodgers has come out and he says he never had any doubts about a title, whether it be with himself, doubts about the team, or doubts about anything. He thought that he was going to come up and he was going to get the job done this season. So when asked after winning the title, this is what Rodgers had to say. He says, quote, "There was a lot of pressure on the players, but you only need to look at the results and the performances to see how they coped. It means a lot for me. There were question marks over me. Was I good enough to be here? Could I manage this team? Could I get them to play the level of football expected? If you doubt, it can be an issue for you, but I never had any doubts this season. I'm so pleased for the supporters. Over the last few months, we've all come together. Our performance level was immense. This was always going to be a really tough game. Everything I want in the team, technique, speed, power, mobility, creativity, it was all there. Overall, it was a brilliant team performance tonight and a great way to clinch the title. We wanted to sprint over the line and we went over it really quickly." End of quote. So, yeah, Brendan Rodgers says that he never had any doubts. I'm not necessarily sure I agree with that. I think there was definitely a period in the season where there was doubts, especially from Celtic fans, and it kind of is around that period after the winter break finished. So Celtic came back, they just beat Rangers before the winter break, so they stayed in front. I think the gap was around 5 points at that time. They came back, a 1-0 win over Ross County. Johnson scored in the first minute, and that was it at Celtic Park. They just seen the game out. Ross County missed a really good opportunity in the 94th minute to snatch a draw. After that, they drew with Aberdeen. I thought they were the worst team in that game. I thought Aberdeen deserved the win. The game after that, 2-1 win against Hibernian, scraped over the line. 2 penalties in that game, if you don't remember. One was very late in the 92nd minute. They just about got over the line there. The Kilmarnock game after that, they again dropped points, 1-1 against Kilmarnock when Watson scored in the 92nd minute, and that second half performance from Celtic was terrible. I think Kilmarnock probably deserved that win, but they didn't get it on the night. And then the game after that is where I truly believe Celtic won the league. So it was the 25th February, Motherwell versus Celtic. Motherwell took the lead, Blair Spittle. Arguably, for me, goal of the season. I don't quite know how it didn't win it. I thought the build-up to that goal was fantastic. Motherwell went in front, and then they scored in the 94th and 96th minute to get a 3-1 win. But had they not won that, they would have fallen 4 points behind Rangers at that time. So I think that was a massive game changer. When I look back at league campaign, when I look at a result that, in my opinion, swung momentum, I think it was this result here, because had Celtic drawn with Motherwell, the gap to Rangers would have been 4 points. Rangers at that period of time were on the up. They were winning pretty much every single game. Celtic looked flaky. Like I said, two of the last 3 games they dropped points, and then the other game they just narrowly beat Hibs. So coming into this Motherwell game, Celtic were not looking good. They'd only picked up, what, 5 points at the last 9, and they were very lucky to beat Hibs with that late penalty. So coming into this Motherwell game, and the fact that they were trailing at half-time, this was a period of the season where a lot of people were not confident in Rodgers. They were not confident in Celtic, and I believe Celtic fans didn't think they were going to get over the line. I know a lot of people want them out at this point, but you know what, he stayed in there, he won the league, he came back, and you've got to be honest, ever since the Celtic lost 2-0 to Hearts, they bounced back, and you know, they didn't really look behind them after that. I know they had the 3-3 draw at Ibrox with Rangers, but Celtic should have won that game. They were dominant in the first half. I think they were 2-0 up. Should have probably been more. The Rangers penalty, I thought, was very controversial as well. So that's the only blip Celtic have had in the league since losing to Hearts on the 3rd of March. And I think when you look back at that Old Firm game at Ibrox, Celtic should have won it. So had they won that, the league probably would have been wrapped up a little bit sooner. But yeah, for me, the best team has won the league. Even though a lot of people thought Rangers were going to win it for the past couple of months, in the end, Celtic managed to hold their nerve together. I guess that's what champions do. Rangers, on the other hand, they got themselves into a really good position after a poor start to the season. Beale left, and then Clement came in, and he only dropped points against Celtic and Aberdeen. He won like every other game apart from that, up to the Motherwell defeat. And then ever since Rangers lost to Motherwell, you know, the results just got worse and worse. The Dundee and Ross County doubleheader as well, picking up 1 point out of those 6 is insane. Did Dundee cancellation, did that hurt Rangers? I mean, who knows? I know people are saying that if the Dundee game initially went ahead when it was supposed to, Rangers wouldn't have had to delay games, they wouldn't have been playing catch-up, they would have had momentum, they would have been top of the table. I mean, you can argue that, but at the end of the day, when you're Rangers, you should be able to beat Dundee whenever you play them. You should be able to beat Ross County whenever you play them. And that is effectively what has cost Rangers the league. Plus, also, when you look at the Old Firm, head-to-head, you can't only pick up 1 point out of 12 and expect to win the league, because that's a massive swing. You know, that is, you're essentially giving Celtic an 18-point swing there. Because Celtic have won 3 out of the 4, so that's 6 points up for grabs. Every time Celtic have beat Rangers, that's a 6-pointer. It's a 6-pointer. So yeah, even if Rangers had won one of the Old Firm games that Celtic won, the gap would have been level. They would have been level in points. So that's the difference. If you're going to lose 3 Old Firm games and draw the other one, the likelihood of you, the chances of you winning the league are pretty much next to nothing. You just can't afford to do that, especially when you've got 2 teams like Celtic and Rangers that are so far ahead of the rest of the pack. Those Old Firm games mean everything. You know, those are the games that are ultimately going to decide the title, and that's kind of what happens. So, yeah, congratulations to Celtic. I don't agree with Rodgers that it was never in doubt. I think it looked in doubt for a long time. There was a lot of people calling Rodgers out. Even Chris Sutton, at periods, I don't think believed Celtic were going to get over the line. John Hartson went on to label Rangers as favourites not that long ago. So, I mean, Brendan Rodgers is coming out, making it out as if he's been like victimised or whatever. But the fact is, for large parts of this season, Celtic weren't playing great. They were dropping more points than usual. The football has been nowhere near as good, and the results have been nowhere near as good as they were under Ange Postecoglou. So Brendan Rodgers can say that he's been victimised or he's been heavily criticised, but it's been deserved, okay? This Celtic team is not as good as it was under Ange, and they will need to improve. Or else next season, they'll be in another battle with Rangers for the title. They'll be getting scalped again in Europe. That's what awaits Celtic next season, unless they can do something. So yeah, Rodgers, I think he should be happy. He's won the title. Good for him. But let's not pretend like it was easy. Let's not pretend like it was never in doubt. Let's not pretend that you've been really fortunate that Rangers have shat the bed towards the end, because that's kind of what has happened. And there was a period of the season, like I said, where Celtic were on the ropes. Thankfully, for Rodgers' sake, they managed to get over that, but it wasn't plain sailing at all. Anyway, guys, that's it. Catch you in the next one. Some big transfers have happened, actually, in the last 24 hours. Need to get updated on that. Yeah, so maybe a few transfer feeds coming out later. But, yep, till next time, congratulations, Celtic. Congratulations, Brendan Rodgers. Can they make it 4 in a row? Right now, they've got to be favourites. They have to be. They've got a better team than Rangers, better players than Rangers, got more money to spend in the summer than Rangers. So as of right now, 100%. Celtic are the favourites to win the 2024-2025 season. Can they do it? We'll find out. Till next time, peace.